You are not waiting on a bigger calling. You are being tested by a smaller one. And the way you are handling the small one is the answer God is waiting on before he hands you anything else. Last week you restarted something smaller, at a pace you can hold, and you did a rep tired, on purpose. And I told you endurance is not built big. It is built in things small enough to dismiss. This also reaches back to week 4. We said God entrusts weight to a man based on what holds in private. This week Jesus tells you exactly where that trust gets proven in the very little. My name is Zach Powell, and the way I understand what God has called me to is simple. We are called to be soldiers, disciples, and fishers of men for Christ. Soldiers because this life is not casual. There is a real enemy and no man sits it out. Disciples because none of us is above the word. We are under it, still being formed. And fishers of men because as disciples he calls us to pull others out of the dark and into his light. This is the 9th teaching in a season, built on a book I wrote called Lessons of the Father. And this week, faithful in the small things. Listen to Jesus. Luke chapter 16, verse 10. Whoever can be trusted with very little can also be trusted with much, and whoever is dishonest with very little will also be dishonest with much. Whoever can be trusted with very little can also be trusted with much. Jesus is dismantling something there. The idea that greatness starts with a big stage. It doesn't. It starts with trustworthiness in matters small enough that you thought they did not count. And notice the other side of the verse, because it cuts. Whoever is dishonest with very little will also be dishonest with much. Scripture does not separate minor integrity from major integrity. There is just integrity, and it scales. The small compromise feels harmless. The small obedience feels insignificant. But both of them are setting the pattern for what you will do when the stakes are real. A man who excuses minor dishonesty is not going to stand firm in major testing. The pattern is already set. He set it in the small. So what does small faithfulness look like? It looks almost embarrassingly ordinary. Make the call you said you would make. Follow through on what you committed. Pray when no one asks you to. Correct gently when the irritation is small, instead of saving your patience for an audience. Your children are keeping a record you do not see. Promises kept, promises forgotten. They are learning from you whether a man's word depends on whether anyone checks. Now, there is one small thing that runs underneath every other one. Your hours. Listen to Paul, Ephesians chapter 5, verses 15 and 16. Be very careful, then, how you live, not as unwise, but as wise, making the most of every opportunity, because the days are evil. Be very careful, then, how you live. Paul does not talk about time casually, and the reason is simple. Time is one thing you spend, whether you decide to or not. Days pass either way, used or wasted, and once a day is spent, no man alive can get it back. Time reveals priorities, not the ones you claim, the real ones. Where do your mornings actually go? Where does your attention rest when you are tired? What gets your first hour, and what gets whatever's left? And hear this, fathers. Your children do not measure your time in the abstract. They experience it in person. They know whether your presence is consistent or fragmented. They can feel the difference between a father in the room and a father in the phone. The issue is not busyness. Every man is busy. The issue is direction. Unwise living drifts with whatever is urgent. Wise living chooses. Making the most of every opportunity does not mean cramming the calendar. It means treating the hour as entrusted. Very little watched the same way the money and the promises are. Because here is the principle under the whole teaching: capacity increases where trust has been given. Men keep asking God for enlargement while neglecting the small things He already handed them. And enlargement without faithfulness does not produce strength. It produces a collapse with a bigger audience. I have asked God for more while ignoring what He had already put in my hands. He has been teaching me to look down before I look up. The path to strength is rarely dramatic. It is steady faithfulness in what everyone else overlooks. 2 small moves, and do not let their size fool you. First, keep one small promise this week that you would normally let slide. The call you keep meaning to make. The thing you told your son you would do. The follow through nobody would chase you on. Do it this week without being reminded. Second, take back 1 hour. Name the hour you lose most days. You know where it goes: the scroll, the show, the nothing. And this week, give that hour every day to the thing you keep saying matters. The Word, your kids, the task you've been circling for a month. 1 promise kept, 1 hour taken back. That is the week, small on purpose. If God is working on you in the small things, subscribe and keep walking the season. And if you know a man waiting on a big calling, while the small one sits untouched, send him this one. Next week closes formation, and it closes with a question underneath everything we have built. Who is it all for? The quiet reps, the governed tongue, the endurance, the small faithfulness. If you are doing any of it to be seen, it is already leaking. Next week we go back to where this phase opened, the unseen life. And we deal with the last divided place in a man, his mind. Next week, unseen and undivided. Until then, 1 promise, 1 hour. Stand firm in the faith, and I will see you next week.